Can you hear? Oh, there you go. We're having challenges with Be Live, but let's get this freaking show started. Hey, it's 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast. I'm Brannon Beliso. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Success Never Sleeps. Cool, cool, cool. I'd love to be able to see myself on the screen. What do we need to do that? Hey, folks, as you're coming aboard, let us know that you're there. Um, and put in your name, the name of your school, where you're tuning in from, and we'll get into this. Because I need it. There you go. Does that work now? Cool. See, there's 7 people. I just needed to refresh my screen. Anytime we refresh, we get renewed. Everything's possible. Cool. All right. That makes me feel much, much better. I was staring at a blank screen going, well, that looks like Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon. See that? Cool. All right, folks. Hey, I am Brannon Beliso. Yeah, let's try it again. I am Brannon Beliso. This is Success Never Sleeps at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast. It is our Q&A Friday. I posted that. I think what's most fun for me about this is together we collectively try to figure out this thing called life, right? Personally, professionally, relationship, health-wise, everything. Success Never Sleeps is all encompassing. If my business is successful, but I'm personally depleted, stressed out, eating unhealthy, I'm not successful. So when I talk about success never sleeps, it's all the elements of your life. And I think that's a beautiful thing about this show. And I want to thank you because it's you being here, offering your questions, interacting with me that we create this culture, this community worldwide in many respects of people beyond the martial arts, beyond owning businesses, just people trying to figure this thing called life out. Cool. So let's begin by thanking my sponsors. Who do we have? We got My Studio, we got Kids Love Life Skills, and we have LC Accounting. 3 disruptive people in our industry. These companies are boldly going where no one's gone before. They're willing to make mistakes. They're willing to get out there and do their homework to create services and products that can really help us do what? Live our best life, right? And I think that's super, super cool. What are we giving away today, K1? For everybody that shares this, because of course our goal is to grow this culture, right? We want to grow this culture. So I'm asking you to share this live video right now with as many people as you can. And today, I love this. We're going to do a 30-minute phone call with me. And the reason I love doing those calls so much, they're discovery calls. And as you saw in our last webinar about creating content, we were just, creating stuff together. And that's so powerful. And the minute we limit ourselves to, I'm afraid to make a mistake. How much money am I going to lose? We start pigeonholing ourselves. We lose that creative freedom. But what's so cool about being in the moment, and that's really big in the martial arts, that's big in meditation, that's big in yoga. We all talk about being in the moment. Being in the moment is really powerful stuff. And I can't express that enough, how we create and cultivate content. And we'll do that today. We'll have ideas, we'll answer questions, and we'll move forward. What's coming up that I'm super, super proud of? In November, we have It's Time Live Change. That's right. I believe by November we'll be opened up. We're going to be able to offer this live event, which we missed so much last November, but we did it virtually, and it's the next best thing to being there, right? But we'll be releasing shortly the 20 spots for the 4 days. That always books out. For the 6-7 years we've done It's Time Live, it's always booked out. So if you want to come to a retreat, it is a 4-day retreat. I'm telling you, it is, because we not only work on a success mindset and systems and culture and branding and why and team building and leadership. It's all encompassing. So we spend 4 days together in silent meditation, walking meditations. We face fears. We do all kinds of really fun stuff. And we learn to become writers. We learn to become architects. We learn to become the storytellers of not only our business, but of our life, right? I was born 1962. I don't know what year I'm going to die. That little dash in between, that's my life. That's my story. That's what we cultivate. So as soon as you see that link pop up, I'm encouraging you, sign up, reserve your spot, because those 20 spots, ask Jason, ask Marco, whoever's here, it goes like that. Those 20 spots are gone like that. And then, of course, we'll do a 1 day, 2 day event, which is open to everybody, and that's unlimited people. Cool? Yeah, Jason said he's going to be in November, and he's come a long, long way. He really has. If you get a chance, follow Jason Smith. Look at the content he's creating. He now has a brand. He has a why, and it's so easy to cultivate and live your life when you're very, very, very clear who you are. You don't veer left and right. With anything that comes across. Oh, this is trendy. This is trendy. You go, and then you're doing this instead of this very clear, steady path of nurturing your why, of refining your why, of refining your brand. It's a powerful thing. If you get a chance, talk to Jason. Talk to Jason. Talk to him. Get him on the phone. Talk to Marco Mazzola, two people I've worked with. Talk to Conrad. It really is life changing. At least you're living from purpose. And from that purpose, you can cultivate content for your website, emails, social media posts. We do it all day long. K1 runs crazy. And I just look back because it's live your best life. He knows that. He's not going to sit there and put, drink a beer and smoke a cigar because it doesn't fit what we do. It doesn't fit what we do. So K1 has a very clear why that, so when he cultivates content, it's super, super clear. Cool? Cool, cool, cool. All right. And we also want to tell you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have tons of learning content, and we're working with a company now, really defining these videos and breaking them down. And our YouTube channel is going to be amazing. You just watch the changes in the months to come. With this pandemic, for me at least, we've really learned more about who we are and why we do what we do. And we're moving into that direction with all of my companies. Kids Love Life Skills. It's Time, consulting, my e-learning. All that is another whole nother brand. All our systems at One Martial Arts. We're moving that into licensing to license our systems. Excellent Kids will also be a licensed-based program. But it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of money, and I'm up for it. I'm really up for it because these programs deserve it. They really, really, really do. They really, really, really do. And for that, I'm extremely grateful for that awakening I had through this pandemic. And I'm super grateful. Can you feel it? I'm a grateful guy. All right, let's get into the questions, K1. What do we got? What's the first question of the day? Christina. Have you ever formed a DBA under your martial arts LLC? I'm trying to figure out if I can create my photography business under our already formed Taekwondo business or if it needs its own LLC. My goal is to minimize paperwork that will need to be filled annually. Okay, Christina, here's my feeling about that, all right? I want to be very clear with you about this. Do the foundation work now. And if you see down the road that your photography business is going to be substantial and it's going to be a big thing, I would spend the time and the money setting up a separate LLC. Okay? I've always ran Kids Love Life Skills through our One Martial Arts LLC company, right? My It's Time now has been moved away. It's separate. And eventually we will have all these umbrella companies under one company, right? And there'll be sub companies, but they should be set up. Make sure whether you're an S Corp or an LLC or a C Corp, just make sure that's not going to come back to bite you in the butt later on. So what's my answer to that question? Talk to a lawyer. Seriously, that's the best answer for that. The fact that you're asking me would encourage me to tell you, shift your mindset. Anytime you approach business, don't ask another martial artist that type of question. That type of question is reserved for a lawyer, right? Is that fair in saying that, K1? Yeah, I would. I mean, I see people do that all the time at social media, and they'll ask those type of questions. And my first answer, if I want to feed my ego, I'm going to tell you do this, this, and this. But a smart business person would tell you, talk to a lawyer about that, because you just don't want it to come back to bite you in the behind later. Right? And you're far into this thing, and then they're going to say, hey, you didn't set up your company right. You can't write that off. You can't write that off, because how can you own a martial arts school and be writing off camera equipment, Well, you can say I use that camera for the martial arts thing, but then they're going to go, no, no, no. It's just like 1099ing people. You guys out there who still do 1099s, be very, 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 very careful with that. When I sat with a lawyer, they said, you can't 1099 people. They said, they wear your one martial arts t-shirt when they teach? Yeah, they do. Right. And this was our kickboxing instructors. We were 1099ing. We've always kept our martial arts instructors on payroll. And they said, well, you can't do that. I said, well, if they wear your stuff and they're only teaching for you, it's just so gray. And here in California, they're very strict about that. Long story short, I could not 1099 my fitness kickboxing instructors. Thank God I talked to a lawyer. And I use lawyers all the time. You're like, you don't want to spend that money. Well, you spend the money now or you end up spending it later. Cool? So what's my answer to that question, everybody? Talk to a lawyer. Good. Next question. You okay there, K1? No. What's the best single piece of advice you ever received in regards to your business? There isn't one single piece. Do you know what that is, Bill? That's the question you post at Facebook so you get lots of comments and conversation. So the algorithms go, hey, this guy's got a lot of action. Let's move him up in the ranks, right? That's all that question is, sir. I'm not going to answer that. That's a silly question. It is. I'm going to tell you that because I see that stuff at Facebook. You will never see Brannon Beliso engage in those types of conversations. There's not one single best piece because the best piece of advice I got 10 years ago, it ain't working for me today in the middle of this pandemic. So the best piece of advice I ever gotten is that's a silly question because it is. It's a silly question. Come on, you guys, you're better than that. You're better than that. You're better than that. Cool? James, what is the best way to launch Kids Love Life Skills? I want to bring the whole system on board. I finally see parents and adults pay us to improve the quality and potential of their lives. James, if the best way to launch Kids Love Life Skills is to talk to Marco Mazzola, who's part of our team at Kids Love Life Skills. But I'm going to tell you how we do it just in the beginning. Just the first part, but the rest of it, you got to talk to Marco, okay? Because we're moving into a subscription-based model where we're going to partner with you. We're going to do bi-monthly phone calls, a lot of cool stuff. We have social media content for you. It's growing, but it's a work in progress, not perfect. So first thing we do is we take the family badge and we give the family badge to all of our parents with the student parent handout. Marco, what do we call it now? It's called student discovery. Student and parent discovery. Ooh, I like that. See, it makes the hair stand up. And that's why I love cultivating a bigger tribe of thought of people that are thinking. So we take the family life skill badge, we take the student parent discovery sheet, and we take the family coloring sheet. And we give it to everybody in our school. And we share with them, we're rolling out this new life skills program called Kids Love Life Skills. And we talk it up. It's an internationally used character development program developed by Brannon Beliso. It's used in over 300 schools worldwide so that it gives it credibility. And you want to co-brand with us, definitely, James. You always want to use Kids Love Life Skills. Absolutely, because you co-brand with a quality brand. But it's not going to take over your brand. It supports your brand, okay? And then we tell the parents, the neat thing about this system, it's a learn-to-earn system. And the goal is to take what we learn in our school and make sure that you can replicate it at home, replicate it at school, in a restaurant, anywhere you go. So parents, you're going to take this student-parent discovery sheet, read through it, apply it to the dynamics of your household. And you choose how your child earns that badge. And when they earn it, it's a peel and stick badge. You put it on the lapel of their uniform. And while you're at it, also do the coloring sheet so you can be entered in our coloring sheet contest. And so that whole month you're doing the family badge. What you want to do is you have them color it, shoot a screenshot, post it at your social media. So again, you create that buzz that you're a life skills education leader. Cool? Yeah. And it's such a powerful conversation because for us, James, we not only use that family badge to roll it out in all the schools, what we also do is anytime we have a new student come in, it's really powerful. We're sizing them up for their uniform. We get the family badge, we get the student parent discovery sheet, and we say, hey, sir, In our school, we love to earn our life skills badges. The most important badge you will ever earn is this badge. Can you eat it? And if they can't, then we'll say it's the family badge. Because in our school, family is the most important part of our life. But you know what? I can't give you this badge, sir, because you have to earn it at home from your parents. And then I look at this parent and I tell them, we would never tell you how to parent your child. But I'm a parent like you, right? So you love food for thought. So you take this student parent discovery sheet, you share it with your child, you apply it to the dynamics of your household, and you choose how your child earns that badge. Boom! James, boom, because I'm a parent. Don't freaking police my house. Don't tell me in order to bell test, I have to have the teacher sign off at school and I have to sign off at home. You're crossing boundaries. Soccer doesn't do that. Swimming doesn't do that. We're the only person that will say to a kid, you can't bell test unless your teacher at the school says so and your parent says so. We disagree. We disagree. But to give your parents tools like that, James, and empower them, ooh, makes the hair stand up on my arms. Cool? And that's just the tip of the iceberg, folks. Talk to Marco Mazzola. Marco's going, man, they're going to flood me with calls. Cool. All right. So, James, okay, if you don't have a program like Kids Love Life Skills for Adults, who would you recommend? We take the same life talk and we just create a conversation. So let's say it's something like focus. Focus means pay attention. With the little kids, we go look with your eyes, listen with your ears, think with your mind, do the right thing with your body. So we'll tell adults, all right, hey, adults who can say focus, sir. The whole room shouts focus, sir. And focus means to pay attention. What does focus mean? Pay attention, sir. Why? Why, as an adult, is paying attention a good thing? Well, so I don't get into a car accident. So I do better when I have a presentation. So I enjoy a movie better. Awesome. But the four key elements of focus are always going to be eyes, ears, mind, body. So if I'm doing something as simple as driving a car, if I want optimal focus, I look where I'm going. I listen for cars and traffic. I think about the rules of the road, and I do the right thing with my body. I don't drive with my mouth. I drive with my two hands at what? 10 and 2, blah, blah, blah. So then you can make more of a conversation with your adults. Again, keep it short and sweet. Where the life talk for the kids, James, it's more of they finish your sentence. Focus means look with your, and everybody shouts, eyes, sir. But you can still take that same life skills because life skills are universal, James. They're good for adults, they're good for kids. It's just your delivery with the adults and the teenagers that shifts gears. And I love it because it's a conversation that you can have. Try to do that with a 4-year-old. You're in big trouble, sir. You're sitting there, okay, focus means pay attention. What does that mean to you? Me. Sir, you know, yesterday Scooby-Doo was on the TV and my brother kicked me, but we were eating ice cream. And after that, we took a bath. And you know what? A, B, C, D. And you're looking at this freaking kid going, oh man, and you don't want to cut him off. That's why the life talk is designed where they finish your sentences. So it's interactive. It's cool. I love Kids Love Life Skills. It's really, really cool. And it works for adults just as well. It's just more of a conversation. And once in a while, we had a woman, one of our black belts. She has terrible control. So one night she had good control. So we gave her the control badge and she thought it was cool. But I would love to strengthen that. You know, there was a time people collected postage stamps and things like that. It'd be great to get my adults, you know, to collect these badges actively, right? And we have some kind of reward system. So that's something, that's a whole nother conversation for us. But you can't be everything to everybody. But life skills are universal, James. So they work all the way around. Cool? Next question. I'd like to pick your brain. Oh man, that's a dangerous prospect, man. I don't know if you'd like what you see in there, sir. I'd like to pick your brain at the choice of manual renewal versus auto renewal memberships, the pros and cons you see of each. Thank you, sir. Okay, for us, it's an ongoing subscription. All right. We do have paid in full, you know, which is mainly used by our long-term students. They love it. They pay for a year in full, and there's 10% discount. What it'll automatically do, see, because we're using My Studio, so I can go to My Studio right now, open my phone, and I can purchase a membership. So what happens is when their membership is ending, say they bought a 1 year paid in full, where your question is more relevant. If they buy a 1 year pay in full, an email is automatically generated through my studio telling them that your membership has expired. Please purchase another one. It's automatic. It's automatic. But that's not the majority of our membership. The majority of our membership, when they come aboard, they're on a subscription. It's month to month. So all they have to do is through the app message us or do a push notification or email us and say, I'm quitting at the end of the month. Make sure not to charge me. It's really that simple. Nothing more, nothing less. You want to automate that as much as possible. So I like the ongoing subscription. Even when you sign up in our school, our first month is simply discounted. So right away when they sign up, they're choosing a once a week membership at $169 a month or a twice a week membership at $209. And their first month is just discounted at $99 and they get a free uniform. But they have that clear understanding that at the end of that month, that discounted month, it's going to go right into charging them for a once or twice a week membership. What I love about that for us now, when people did a 4-week trial, we had to stay so on top of it to make sure, hey, you got 2 weeks left. Hey, you got 1 week left. Hey, you better sign up. And the people walking up to the front desk going, my trial's up. How do I sign up? Or they keep coming to class for 2 weeks and you're trying to track them down. It's very, very awkward. And you'll get that with all your subscriptions now. You get cable, it's discounted for this amount of time, and then your cable bill jumps up to the regular price, right? It's up to you to cancel. And putting that power in the consumer's hands makes purchasing this discounted first month at $99 rolling into a regular membership, it makes it much easier to process or stomach because they're empowered to just simply go, okay, if I don't want it, we don't even have a 30-day, sir. We don't even have a 30-day cancellation. So I think what matters most when you talk about the pros versus the cons is what is your value system? What is the Disney experience you want to create? Use your own personal experience. What is that like for you? Do you want to be on auto renewal or do you want someone sending you an email, on a monthly basis going, I need to collect your tuition, come bring the check to the front desk? I think in today's society with Amazon, Shopify, Apple, iTunes, the App Store and everything's subscription based. I don't know anything that isn't subscription based now, right? Everything. Yeah, everything I have is subscription based. So that would be my James, talk to Marco about what the cost is. I think I know it's going to go up a little bit by like $100 or so. What's the 4-day experience? Yeah, it's somewhere around $1,000 for 4 days. But James, with it, there's a lot of other things like we do lunch and dinner, right, on Monday and Tuesday, lunch on Sunday. So there's a lot of meals in there as well, and so I mean it's pretty robust. It's a pretty robust experience. So it's around $1,000 somewhere in there, give or take a couple $100. All right. The roll into regular membership is so great and one of the best parts of my studio. Yeah, and my studio really revolutionized that. But we've been talking, subscriptions, Kat, for a long. We've always been subscription based. We really have. We've made it a little more feasible for our members. At this point, we only used to do a year, but you can also purchase in 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year at a 10% discount. And that's pretty cool because it gives us a little more cash right now during this pandemic to work with. But be mindful that anytime you do a 1 year paid in full, you should spread that money out over a year, right? Instead of spending it all in one place. So I prefer the subscription base because it's more real numbers, because we are a cash in, cash out basis, money in, money out. And I don't want months where it's 240,000 and we often get that in December because all our core members are buying memberships. And then the very next month, we're at 150. That doesn't work for me. I would rather each month consistently, between two locations, coming in at 150, 160 every month consistently across the board, because your expenses are the same every month, right? So you want to be mindful of that. Cool. Yeah, Sensei Mish, you're right. Subscription-based martial arts is the future of MA paid services. Yep. Yep. Don't quote me on that, James. It is around $1,000. It's somewhere in there. But ask everyone who's been there. We have a great lunch, a great dinner. We're together all day on Monday and Tuesday. We're together all day, right up to the meditation we finish at night. I kind of feel like James Brown on Tuesday night, right? Tuesday night, we're supposed to wrap the thing up at 6:30, 7:30. You ever see James Brown? He's out there singing, singing, singing. They put his cape on. James Brown, they start walking him off. Then he throws off the cape and comes back. Got to sing some more. They put the cape on. They start walking him off the floor. He throws off the cape. He comes back. That's me on Tuesday night. I don't want it to end because it's so magical. It's just such a good time. You know, even Benny Hanna's, everything. I can't wait for it. As you can see, I'm just so excited. To get back to that again is going to be huge for me. Huge for me because I just love everybody who comes. We cry, we write, we discover ourselves. It's such awakening. People are awakened. It's just, it's so cool. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. I'm just looking in the feed, see if I'm missing any questions. Am I missing any questions there? No, Jason, that's a good statement. We have Kids Love Life Skills co-branded in so many ways through our school and programs. We gave a parent the family badge to a new family last night, and the parents talked with a child who was very nervous, and the family awarded to him for showing he representing his family confidently. Good. The parents and kids cried after the class. And those are the magic Disney moments that when I'm sitting there, because when I have a concept for a badge, right? I just finished service recently, and I think another one. And there's service. So we start with service. I do my research. I'm gathering information. I'm using my own personal value system, and then when I'm writing these things, I'm asking, how can this help people live their best life? Because I've shared that, whether it's time, whether it's Kids Love Life Skills, whether it's Excellent Kids, whether it's my Kenpo curriculum, everything is designed to help people live their best life, which is what we're all here to do, right? So what's that experience? When you have a magic moment like that, Jason, just think of all the hours that went into creating that content. It's so much more. It's so much more. And that's why Kids Love Life Skills is moving to a subscription-based model also. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, Marco will get in touch with you. Marco will get in touch with you, James. You already put it in there. Yes, James. So don't book the flight home for Wednesday so I don't miss the Cape. Yeah, we're going to have to get me a Cape, man. Give me a Cape. Because I feel that way. On Tuesday night, we're just sitting there and I don't want it to end. I don't. Because it's like we go into this incubator for 3 days, 4 days. Just, I can't wait till we can do that again. All right, next question. Statistically, whether it's a Facebook announcement, email, mass test, etc., what should I expect as far of a number of students and parents responding? I will tell you, Terry, it's supposed to rain tomorrow. We had people calling us yesterday, left and right, going, are going to be classes outdoors? Are going to be classes outdoors? We waited till the 11th hour because if it's even gives us an hour of no rain, we want to run that class, right? We want to run it. So something like that, we had everybody chomping at the bit. But then we'll do something which is pretty consistent, like our monthly newsletter, which is beautiful and rich with content. And the open rate is what, about 38% on the newsletter? Yeah, right in there. And that's, that's okay. That's okay, right? I think when we open back up, we might consider doing a hard copy again. We did that because people will sit there in the waiting area and read it. We'll see. But and I'll get that. I'll get this thing pop up from MailChimp. Hey, that's pretty good. Okay, who says it's pretty good? I think 100% of the people should be opening our e-newsletter, but that's just not the case, right? So when I look at those stats, I'm going to tell you, Terry, I go, 38%. Last month was 37. I get it. It's Christmas, blah, blah, blah. New year, more people open the newsletter in January than they do in, let's say, July, when everybody's on vacation. That's not the point. So I don't dwell on that too much. I think it's information to help me tweak and adjust and do things. Or I might ask MailChimp, what's a better time to send out this e-newsletter, right? What's the better open rate? But the variable they don't consider with that, they try to say everybody looks at emails on Tuesday. Don't email anybody on a Monday, right? I've heard that and I've read that everywhere. The challenge is if Monday, right, is something that's important, my demographic is more conditioned to open emails on Monday, then I would do that. Remember, they just gather all this data and spit it out. Or they do a survey of 100 people, Terry, and say, well, 38% is pretty good. I don't think 38% is pretty good for opening an e-newsletter because I envision everybody reading my e-newsletter because we put so much work into it, right? So I think, again, Terry, instead of focusing on how many people open it, ask yourself, why am I writing this email? Does it help promote our why? Does it help create that Disney experience? Does it improve the communication? That's more the question I would ask, right? If you're bombarding them like this with emails all the time, they're going to become, basically, they're going to be, what's the word for it? Numb? What's the word where they don't pay attention anymore? They're going to become numb to them, and they're not. There's going to be no value. I think you strategically ask yourself every time you craft an email: does this email really need to go out? Right? Yeah. So that's my best answer there, because I read stats on that all the time, and you can read Marketo says one thing, Mailchimp says another, Facebook says another. Facebook says 2 to 5% ROI on any Facebook ad you run is good, but I get it. Under promise, over deliver. If Facebook told me that, your ROI on our Facebook ad should be 90%, they'd have to be kicking butt to make sure that their ads, are getting to the right people. So if they can tell you 2 to 5% of people, is what you should generate is your reinvestment and, investment on return on investment for an ad, then that's pretty low. So if you're getting 8%, you think you're the cat's meow. I think we should get 100% return on our Facebook ads or any ad we do. But that's just me. That's just me. Cool. All right, next question. And I think the one thing you'll learn about me with a lot of these questions is sometimes I have a very simple answer, and other times my answer is to get you to think. My answer is to get you to sometimes. Why do you always give me a question with a question? Because sometimes it's not like when someone says to me, here's a prime example, and why you're a disruptor, why you're a critical thinker, why you're a thought leader. Okay, that's your goal, being a small business owner or leader in your community. I get it. Standard question I get from a school owner: how do I get 10 more students? Okay, all day I get that question. I tell them that's the wrong question. They go, well, why do you say that? I said, the right question is, how do I close the back door and retain my existing students? They go, I've heard that before. Why is that important? Because if I teach you to get 10 new students and you lose 10 students, you're at 0 for the month. There's no growth there. So it's both. You want to be cultivating 10 new students, but you better close that back door so the 10 don't go out, right? That's the goal. That's the goal. And we know with the pandemic, for many of us that have been in our situation, talk to some fellow martial artists in Australia, they've been closed 8 months. They're just like, wow, right? So they're in the same position we are. Australia gets it together and then they have a huge spike, right? And they're very strict about that. They had one person with a variant in a town or a city. They closed the whole city down. One variant, because they know that one variant can turn into, thousands in one breath. So they're very strict about that. Cool? So you'll know that about me, and I'm very, very passionate. I want you to think. I want you to question Big Brother. I don't want you to listen to me or anybody else. When the day's done, what's most empowering is you figure out for yourself. When you fall down, my kid falls down, I don't pick him up. I let him get up on his own. If he's got a little scuffle going on in the playground, I let him figure it out. I was always that way with my kids. I was never that doting dad. Oh, don't touch my kid. No, let him get dirty. Let him figure out. The stove's hot. He won't know that stove's hot until he goes and touches it. Let him go touch it. Let him get a little burn, right? He's not going to, right? I'm that person. That's important to me. You know how I learned to swim? At the time when they still had 10-foot pools before all of the insurance stuff. My daddy threw me in the 10-foot. He did. We were at a tournament. We're at Ed Parker's Internationals at Long Beach Arena, 1973 maybe. And, that's how my dad taught me to swim. And we were so poor, I didn't even have swimming trunks. He threw me into the darn pool in my karate gi bottoms because that's all we had. I didn't even have swimming trunks. But, he's standing right there. So, if I didn't come up for air, he probably would have jumped in eventually. But he threw my butt in the 10-foot, and I got to the edge. I got to the edge, right? Yeah. Those things happen pretty fast when you're forced to do it. K1's going, no way. K1 can't swim, you guys. K1 says you can drown in a cup of water. So it's pretty funny. You ought to see K1 in a pool. It is pretty funny. All right, next. Oh, there's our sponsors. My Studio, the app, Kids Love Life Skills, and LC Accounting. Thank you to all three. I love you guys, and thank you for supporting the vision of what we do. Very grateful. Next question, please. Doug, who brings their student youth to class more, the mom or the dad? The mom. Yeah, I mean, in my 20 years of owning schools, it's always the mom. My wife makes a decision. She tells me, sign the check. Braden's doing private basketball lessons. Okay. Sign the check. Chaya's doing this. Okay. Right. Take the kids to soccer on Saturday. I will still say that the decision is made by the mom, but I do love My Studio, the app, for that reason, because we're not a hard sell business. Like they say, don't let them out the door. And this is crazy. I heard this one story where they'll say, you ever get this one, K1? When you worked in the hardcore sales one, they say, don't let them out there without them making some type of commitment, right? So there's even that one. I tell you what, you give me a check for a uniform, right? You fill out this check for this uniform. I'm going to give you this uniform so you can go home and talk to your husband about it and you can think about it. And if for some reason you chose not to sign up, bring the uniform back and I'll tear up the check. But that's just a ploy, because when you come back to bring back the uniform, going, oh, my husband, doesn't want to do that. Then they got another sales angle to come at you, right? You're laughing because it's true. How many of you have heard that one? Where you don't let them out of there. You got to get some type of financial commitment. So even if it's just a check for a uniform, right? And if they don't sign up, they bring them back. Anybody? 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 Or is that just me? Anybody? Yeah, and we simply don't do that, sir. That's not what about. That's not what we do. It's just not the way we work. Did that answer that question? Or did I go off on a tangent? What was the question? Good. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yep, yep, yep. Anybody with me on that? Or am I just crazy? Anybody ever been taught that type of sales technique? Right? Yeah. Yep. But it's not my thing, man. It's not my thing. Again, I think we need to be transparent. We need to be authentic. And I don't like selling. It's never been my thing. It doesn't fit my value system, so I don't sell. I think it's about, you know, attraction versus promotion. You want to market responsibility or responsibly and do all those things. Don't get me wrong. All right. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Raymore, Master Raymore did that. You did that, sir? You did that? I don't like bait and switch tactics, but it's out there, right? Salesmanship 101, it's out there. Yeah, it's not what I choose to do. Again, just call me crazy, but I think the martial arts has that Mr. Miyagi. It should have that type of feel. And when you're in a martial arts uniform and you launch into some sales script, there's a huge disconnect for me. That's why we don't have offices in our business. We don't. And we don't, if someone wants to go home and talk to their significant, rock and roll, that's why the app is there. And we tell them that, yeah, cool, right on. We have an app. You can go in there and purchase the membership. I can't tell you how many $99 memberships I've seen in the past couple of weeks. They just happen. They just happen organically by doing the right thing. Unfortunately, you were good at it too, Master Raymore. I was unfortunately good at it too. Didn't even charge for uniform. We gave it to them. Oh, that's a pretty good one, Master Raymore. He didn't even charge. He would give them the uniform, and if they didn't want to sign up, they brought it back. Yeah, I guess good people have a conscience. Good people have a conscience, so they would bring the uniform back, right? Because they filled out a waiver. You got the number. You could probably call them after a week or so and go, hey, make a decision. If not, bring the uniform back. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, you can imagine the Shaolin Temple doing a hard close for new members. But you know how many people spend, like, I don't know what the trip is, $3,000 or $5,000 to go to the Shaolin Temple now and train for a week or something? Yeah. Google it online. I mean, that's how the Shaolin Temple is generating revenue. Not right now, but they have. Thank you, Master Raymore. Meeting you and changing the mindset was the best thing that happened. And you have a good brand too, sir. You cultivated your own brand, right? And you guys love your brand, you and Gene. And that's a good thing. You should love your brand because you got to wake up to it every day. You got to live that brand. So it's beyond martial arts. And I dig it because, yeah, martial arts is beyond that. And I dig it. It's your brand. And if you can get behind it, like I've always shared the Starbucks story. There was that time Horowitz, the guy who bought Starbucks, sat there and said, okay, we're going to have ventis and macchiatos and da-da-da-da-da. And people are looking at this guy. You're freaking nuts. No one's even drinking coffee at this point. And look at Starbucks today. Well, tell me, what kind of freaking name is Starbucks? Right? He had to have coffee at the time. Starbucks coffee. So they were selling coffee, but Starbucks, that's so obscure. But the point I'm trying to make is he believed in it with all his heart. So I'm saying whatever name you choose for your business, you better believe in it because each and every day you have to cultivate and promote that brand, right? Starbucks, who'd have figured? All right, cool. All right, next question. Last question. Okay, put your questions down in the corner, okay? With your 3 and 4 year old programs, are you doing the same membership program as you're doing with the old kids? And how many days a week are you allowing them to come? Okay, Fred, I'm going to start with this though. All right. We use a real estate formula, right? Per square foot. How much money are you generating per square foot? And I learned at the time from Tule of my studio and Encourage Martial Arts. He goes, how much money are you making? How many square feet? He said, you're making over $300 a square foot, which is really a lot of money. That's why when these guys tell me they got 20,000 square feet and 100 students, that's not a good use of space at all. So when you look out on that mat, and roughly each facility, I would say is about 1,800 square feet of mat space in a 3,000 square foot facility, right? We try to maximize the mat space, but every 5 by 5, 6 by 6 by 6. That's real estate. That's real estate. That's real estate. That's real estate. So whether it's an excellent kids class, 3 to 4 years old, whether it's a youth karate class, whether it's kickboxing, whether it's adult martial arts, I want to try to be getting the same revenue. It doesn't help me if one class, each house is worth $10 an hour. Next class, each house is worth $30 an hour. So in answer to that question, we charge the same. It's about value. And I don't have any 3 to 4 year old parents that ever say, you should charge less for this because your youth karate is different. No, it's different value. Of course, we don't teach traditional martial arts to a 3 and 4 year old. It's rich in life skills, gross motor skills. It's parent participation. It's a whole different program. They pay you the same amount, sir. And it's a 40-minute class. Youth karate, it's curriculum driven with videos and things like that. I say it's value. Value. Create enough value and they'll pay you what you believe you're worth. Cool? Cool. All right. Somebody put some questions in there if you have them. Otherwise, I'm going to take a moment, take a deep breath. And I want to say this is Success Never Sleeps. I am Brannon Beliso, hanging out with you on this Friday. You make this show. It's your questions. It's your interaction as I'm reading the feed, looking at the questions. It's you. And of course, K1 holding down the fort makes these cool slides and makes the show happen. But it's us. We are a collective of disruptors, of critical thinkers, of thought leaders. And what I love is win, lose, or draw. In the words of the late, great Frank Sinatra, you do it your way. Well, it's my way, but you know what I mean? And that's powerful because who's to tell you what success should be? I don't pay your rent. I don't feed you. Who am I to say what your version of success should be? Why? Because I have a couple more zeros at the end of my bank account? It's silly. Find out what works for you. That's what's empowering. That's what builds confidence. Cool? All right. Any questions? Pop them in. No questions? Oh, man, we're going to be able to end early today. Wow. Cool, and double cool. Come on, post them in. What you got for me? Did I miss any in the feed, K1? If you want to. Huh? You didn't see anything? Cool. So let me ask you a question. As we're beginning to see the light of day with this pandemic, right? A lot of people getting vaccinated. I found out we can get vaccinated at the end of this month because we work with kids, that we're starting to move that way. What do you believe is going to be your strategy? What is your strategy? Is everything going to go back to the same? Are you going to go back to indoor classes, birthday parties, after school summer camps? What does that look like for you? I'm going to tell you, for us, we're really evaluating it. We figured out on a 3-hour birthday party setup and teardown, right? Including that, it's about 3 hours. We are making about $100. Now, of course, we go, wow, we're getting paid to have a feeder system. We're studying the data. We don't get that many students off birthday parties. Wouldn't you agree, K1? Yeah, because we don't sell. Yeah, we don't sell martial arts. We sell the best birthday party out there. And we're averaging 8 or 9 birthday parties a month. And we're charging $550 now for a base birthday party, right? Yeah, and then Blaster is $650. Yeah, and even with that said, by the time I pay the team, pizza, all the rest, I take $100. That's not a good use of time. It's not. So what if we, instead of cutting off Sunday classes, which we have, ending at noon, what would that look like if we taught straight through to 3, 4 o'clock? And I utilize this talent, these skilled black belts, I utilize their talent for what we're meant to do. Teach martial arts, right? What would that look like? More money in Facebook ads. What would that look like? Right? So we're evaluating those types of things. Do you have a formula for budgeting for your schools? Yes, of course we do. That formula is don't spend more money than you make. There's certain fixed costs in your business. Those fixed costs are rent, payroll. Those are pretty much fixed costs, right? They are. And then, of course, if you lease, there's uniforms, there's taxes, there's licenses you pay for, insurances, all that's fixed. So when you're budgeting, go with your fixed costs. See, the reason people ask me that question, I'm going to tell you. People ask me that question, James, about budgeting because they haven't even remotely set up their budget. They haven't thought about that. See, what I do is I look at what it costs to operate a business. Okay. Let's say it costs me $100 to operate a business. I want to be at a 35% profit. That's it. That to me is a good model. It doesn't make sense to me unless I got 1,000 franchises, to be making $100 and then profiting 5%. It doesn't make sense to me. That's why my model was more of a $1 million school with a 35% net. That's what I want without working. And that's what I was doing pre-pandemic. We were about $1 million each location, and I was taking home 35% net. That's it. So I think that's really the important part, and that formula is lay out your fixed costs, right? What are your fixed costs? And then from there, everything else is gravy. Because marketing is such a gray area. People say you should be doing what? 2% or 10% of your gross revenue on marketing. But I believe in community-based marketing. And if I can do a lot of community-based stuff that serves the community and just requires manpower, me physically doing things, I'd rather move in that direction than paying some cat, $1,000 a month for Facebook ads. Just doesn't make sense to me. Right? So it's really about your fixed costs, James, and then everything else on top of that that's fluid and flexible. Right? Electricity goes up more during the summer, but you can pretty much price out your electricity for the whole year. Your insurance is fixed. Your rent is fixed. Your payroll fluctuates a little bit, but you can take a 12-month payroll and know what your average payroll is each month. So there's that fixed budget. Is this one where we get into trouble? Is over here. When we decide to hire some guru at $3,000 a month when we can't really afford it. Right? And what's the reply? Well, you can't not afford it. I think you have to be mindful of that. So you have to make sure these fluid costs, these added costs, are you going to fly to an event, right? To its time. Can you afford that? Maybe not. My budget says I can't. So I'm going to spend the money to take one of Brannon's online webinars. Sure. Whatever the case may be, right? Whenever the case may be, but it's those fluid costs that get us in trouble. Oh, I'm going to buy, 20 bags. Can we afford 20 bags? Have we budgeted that for this year, right? With the projected growth of our school, et cetera, et cetera. Does that make sense, sir? So bottom line, create a budget, fixed costs, fluid costs, lay that down and make sure those fluid costs don't get out of control, but don't spend more than you make. That's it. That's it, right? But expect as a young business, first 3 to 5 years, you're in debt. That's every piece of data said it's okay. The first 3 to 5 years, you're in the red. Out of that, after that, you should be in the black, or you probably don't have a business. Cool. All right. Yeah, I think keep doing Zoom for a while if there's still a demand. But I think instead of saying if there's still a demand, Kat, I want you to create a demand. Right? We believe private lessons, we have more private lessons. We tripled our private lesson revenue through this pandemic. We believe that's not going anywhere. That kid who's like 4 hours away, that's a black belt, that's training with us now, he'll always have a demand. So I believe at least at the minimum, we're going to keep virtual private lessons and a minimal amount of virtual online classes. Because we're starting to get people training in San Diego. We have people training, in Florida, Canada. So that's just an additional revenue stream, Kat. So it's one that I would look at and not base it upon, is there still a demand? Create the demand, cultivate that demand. See, Kat, I have some students that live too far away to ever come in person. There you go. So I think it's a matter of creating that. Imagine if you got 30 people that lived far away that loved Kenpo and wanted to train. Cool. How robust? Created demand, got it. We had a power outage last night, and thanks goodness for Zoom, I was able to go home and still give everyone classes. See that? There you go. This would have never happened unless we were in this pandemic, right? Conrad, how robust do you project your virtual student memberships? Genuinely long distance, not local, post-pandemic. I don't know. I don't know. I would have never thunk, Conrad, that we'd be running over 600 students virtually right now. I would have never thunk that our private lessons would be tripled. But I think what makes a great entrepreneur is you look at opportunity in challenges. And that we did look at. Here we have a challenge. We can't do indoor classes. So what do we do with this challenge? What is the opportunity in this challenge? Well, we have an opportunity to cultivate this online presence. We have an opportunity to cultivate an outdoor presence. Believe me, a beautiful summer day, I think everybody would much rather do Saturday classes outdoor in the park on a Saturday than in here. So we're going to look at that. No, seriously. Seriously, because it's beautiful. And what if we did, what would that look like? Hey, this, every last Saturday of the month, all our classes are outdoors. What would that look like on a beautiful summer day, right? And then we're out there, girls selling Girl Scout cookies. We're out there with the cotton candy machine. Who knows? It could be a party, right? What does that look like? And imagine this now. What kind of exposure would that give us? Ooh, right? Right? People are walk by this Millbrae Library parking lot all the time going, what's going on over there? Right? They're dropping books off at the library because they have a big table outside. People are always walking up, standing, looking at what we do at a distance. That's free marketing. So what would that look like? What would that look like, right? And Jason, I'm thankful for the virtual private lessons. Yeah, me and Jason do virtual private lessons every other week. And it is valuable. Absolutely. 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 Oh yeah, Letitia's big on it. Letitia from LC Accounting, cut your expenses on eating out. Don't be eating out, right? That's her big one, eating out, right? Eating out. We don't all live on a farm like you, Letitia, where we grow our own vegetables and slaughter our own pigs, right? I don't have a pair of cowboy boots. I can't go into my cement concrete backyard and go, Kim, slop them hogs. Pull me some veggies. Yep. Yep. My sister's training in virtual. Yeah. And there you go. We got people here training virtually. Cat's successful, doing that. I mean, it's cool. Virtual is cool. Like we're doing right now. We're together. We're hanging out, and it's so cool. I don't think it's not a matter. See, people got hung up. Does it replace? No, it doesn't. It's just another way. If you're committed to your why, live your best life, it doesn't matter. In a park, virtually, indoors, it makes no difference. We are martial artists. We are committed to cultivating martial arts. No matter how we're allowed to do that, we're going to do that. Don't you agree? And that's the beautiful thing. This pandemic happened. I still have guys going, well, nobody wants to learn virtual. Nobody wants to learn virtually. Tell Peloton. Tell that to Mir and tell it to us running over 600 students virtually. It's really about living from that why. Yeah, no, Jim. I mean, I'm not knocking. I'm just giving my sister grief, right? I'm just giving my sister grief. That's all. I want to do that, but you know what? Before we remodeled the house, Jim, the gophers just ate everything I grew in the backyard. So I'm going to use raised planters. And also as I'm starting to get a little bit older, I don't want to be getting down on my hands and knees. So I want raised planters. So I just reach in and do that. I love to grow stuff. We had strawberries in our backyard. We had rosemary. We had a couple of different things at different times, but we had this big giant pine tree that I paid to get cut down in my neighbor's yard when we remodeled because we had to get a new retaining wall. And little did I know, did you know this? Pine trees, the needles have acid, or the acidity of the pine needles killed all the vegetables in our backyard. We couldn't have any vegetables we tried to grow. Never knew that one, right? Anybody ever look at the base of a pine tree? What do you see growing? Nothing. There's just pine needles all over the ground. Never knew that, right? Never knew that. Yep. And virtual is a pivot, not a Band-Aid. I took someone's webinar and she talked about that and she was financial planner. She said a Band-Aid would be if I'm a tailor and I started making masks during the pandemic. That might be a Band-Aid, right? But I don't believe as a martial arts school that virtual classes are a band-aid. I believe it's a revenue stream we can cultivate because there will always now be an audience. By default, they trust that process of virtual learning. There'll always be an audience. And believe me, again, Peloton and Mirror, it's only growing. So I do believe if all of you want to stop doing virtual, please, I'm telling everybody right now, stop doing virtual because we'll be in your backyard tomorrow taking those virtual students. We will, because that's our goal. And we're testing different markets now. I know there's different time zones, but what would that look like? Because prime hours in our school fundamentally is what? 3:30 to 8:30, right? Give or take. What would it be like to walk into your school at 1 o'clock and doing a full beginner class in New York at 4 o'clock? Ooh, what would that look like, right? What would that look like? So I think the potential is there and it's unlimited. It's just something that needs to be cultivated, right? Kat, you're a big Apple person, right? You love Apple, you work for Apple. That conversation I share all the time when all these people are sitting there and this guy goes, hey man, we're going to take this thing, it's going to be bigger than a cell phone, smaller than a laptop, internet ready. You can do everything you want on it. And we're going to call it an iPad. He was creating something for people that they would need before they knew they needed it. Wow, that's pretty cool. Oh, that's disruptive, right? And Steve Jobs was a disruptor. So if you can realize people need virtual lessons before they ever needed it, 6 months before the pandemic, man, you would have been in a great position when this thing hit. You feel me? And the band played on. My e-learning events have generated a lot of revenue last year because people don't have to get on a plane and fly somewhere and be with me, right? I don't have to get on a plane. We just simply boom, boom, boom. We're at a Zoom. There's people all over the world now having access to my learning and my content where they couldn't before because they couldn't afford to fly, whatever. And this is valuable for the small business owner who's counting their pennies and staying on a budget, right? Yeah, graveyard shift martial arts instructions. You never know. You never know, right? You never know, Conrad. The sky's the limit. And that's the cool thing about being an entrepreneur. Everything's possible. Who'd have thunk we'd have over 600 people training virtually? Who'd have thunk our private lessons would be tripled? Who'd have thunk? The sky's the limit. Okay? Cool, cool, cool. All right, we're almost done here. We got it much more cost effective doing online webinars. They are. They're much more cost effective for you and me. Imagine you have to get on a plane and that you can spend thousands of dollars for learning that I can cultivate with you in a $99 3-hour webinar. It's a done day. Les Brown, a very popular motivational speaker, said he'll never get on a plane again or travel anywhere, right? It's now acceptable. It's now normal. It's normal. But we do have witnessed once schools are fully open, people are done being indoors. They're going to rush into your school. So yeah, I do believe in-person classes we'll see the shift. Right now we're here by default because we're still closed for indoor classes. Virtual, I mean, there's no indoor classes. So let's say virtual and outdoor, or in person. I see the shift. It will happen, but this is still a valuable revenue stream. Just again, keep nurturing it, nurturing it, and nurturing it. Cool? Sensei Mish, I actually did graveyard martial arts classes. Cool? All right. So let's wrap this thing up. Let's thank our sponsors. Let's start with that. Let me thank my sponsors. One more time, I want to thank my studio, Tule and the gang. They're just moving fast, man. Now they have websites, and websites on an app are what we needed because they can go into the website on the app seamlessly, fill out the information seamlessly, book their trial or membership. It's pretty seamless, and it's very cool. Super, super cool. Kids Love Life Skills. We're still working hard. We're shedding a new product. It's all going to be subscription based. So bear with us. We're close. We're just getting the kinks worked out on the landing pages and the website and making sure we can deliver on what it is we say we're going to deliver on. And once we do, you're going to have a whole new world that's I'm really excited about. Elsie Accounting, my sister's a bookkeeper. She runs it on her own. So you get Letitia, you don't get somebody that she's farmed it out to. And so, you get what you pay for. You want to go with a big bookkeeping firm that's going to farm your numbers out to some bean counter in India or Taiwan? You can do that. You can do that, or you can work one-on-one with Letitia. And I'm very proud of that. I've watched her company grow, and it's super cool. Yeah, Jason, we saw the influx of people coming in as of January. But be mindful, January's January, right? Everywhere. New year, new you. Everybody wants to change things in January. But I think with more places opening from the pandemic, yeah, we're going to have a huge influx. Huge influx. And that's why we're considering not doing birthday parties. We're considering, what is it we want to do? Because I think our stock, our bread and butter is martial arts classes. And that's where we make the most amount of money. So why not do that all day long instead of a birthday party and other things? Who knows? Again, as we create this new business in the new norm, the sky's the limit. Cool? All right, everybody share this today. I hope you did. I hope you did. I hope you did. Who's our winner today? Who's going to get 30 minutes on the phone with moi? Today's winner is... Oh, Master Raymore Santos. Master Raymore down in Bakersfield at Beyond Martial Arts. Sir, you got 30 minutes with me. Reach out to K1. Have your questions ready. Please, please, please have those questions ready, all right? And we'll set that up. Now's a good time. Every time's a good time. Cool? And let's make that happen. So everybody give a big disruptor congratulations to Master Raymore Santos down in Bakersfield at Beyond Martial Arts. I hope you're still there, sir. You there? You there? All right, so let's promote it, man. It's time live. We're calling this event in November Change. Change is the key to success. Change is inevitable. If you don't have the mindset and you welcome change, embrace change, love change, not a good day. Things will change. And what causes people the most pain and suffering is their inability to embrace change. So we have It's Time Live, November 13th to 16th. The 4-day event, we're going to open that one up first. Look for that coming up in the next week. That 4-day event, once it opens, ask anybody who's ever been there. Hey, Svetlana, I didn't know you were there. Ivan, Adam in the UK, buddy. What's happening, Adam? Glad that you're here, sir. When that 4-day event opens up, if you really want to change your life, you want a life-changing event, talk to Jason Smith, talk to Marco Mazzola, talk to Kim Herzog in Germany, talk to Andre Mavis in Germany, right? All the people that come from all over the world for this 4-day event, it is life-changing. The 20 spots, they're going to go like that. They always do. That's data. So once that opens up, we're going to sell that first, and we're going to offer that up to the community first. Cool, cool, cool. All right. I want to thank K1 for holding down the fort as always. I'm going to get out of here. Going to go celebrate some Chinese New Year before my private lesson. I am Brannon Beliso. This is Success Never Sleeps. Until we talk again, please, please, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Find me at LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. For everything else, go to brannonbeliso.com. Until we talk again.